Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to do a demo and review for the Face Bond Self-Setting Waterproof Foundation from Urban Decay. It comes in 40 colors and it's $40. I will insert a picture of what the actual product looks like here. And the component, I ended up getting some samples of it because I just wanted to review it for you guys. I don't typically wear liquid foundation. I'm more of a powder foundation girl, but this one really caught my interest based on its claims that it is self-setting. It has 3% niacinamide, which I think is great. The other claims say that it absorbs sweat and sebum for a natural matte finish. It also works great in humidity. It's smudge and transfer resistant. It helps with redness, acne, and blemishes and pores. It's vegan, non-comedogenic. It's a 24-hour wear, and I went with the shade light medium golden, which is shade 14. I was debating between that and shade 13. So hopefully this is a good match for me. I have my sample here, so I'm just gonna hop into it. I've got a couple different brushes here as well. I've got the Sephora Pro Foundation Brush 70, which is more of this flat top kabuki. And then I have more of the Pro Airbrush shade number 55, which is kind of like that softer look. Just because this foundation claims to be a natural matte and medium finish. It also has a really cool component when you squeeze it out, so like all the product comes right out. It doesn't like splat out or make a mess. So that's really cool. I did play with that and enjoyed that. I just want to test the foundation to see if I even like it. I don't typically like liquid foundation, but the self-setting kind of caught my interest. I will still be setting my under eyes concealer just because I have to do that. I will see how long it takes for it to dry and set up before I go and put my powder products on top of it as well. With that being said, let's do this. I'm gonna take my sample and I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand. It says you only need one dot. So I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand and then I'm gonna grab my brush. I'm gonna start with the Sephora Pro Foundation Brush number 70. I like this one for liquids, and we'll kind of go in from there. So this is supposed to be buildable. I didn't get a whole lot of coverage off that first tap, so I am going to go put the product right on my brush and see if that helps me get a little bit better coverage. This is a serum infused foundation, so it is meant to be medium coverage and not look cakey, which I'm totally fine with, but I need just a little more coverage than I was getting using it on the back of my hand. I like to test and see how foundation is going to look that way first. As you can see, I also have some redness. We've got some scabs going. We got all kinds of fun stuff. So it's always good to test out a foundation under those types of conditions. So it's getting okay coverage. I'm not mad at the coverage, but what I will say is it's kind of picking up and gathering on literally every piece on my face. I don't know if you guys can see that as well as I'm seeing it when I'm putting it on. Try to get in here really close for you guys. See how it's gathering all around my mouth and right here. So I don't really like that so far. I'm going to try like pressing it in, seeing if that kind of helps fix some of that. I don't know, I'm not crazy about that. It's also not quite the coverage that I'm looking for from foundation. I do typically wear like a light to medium coverage, but I typically do a powder and it just kind of glides on my face a little bit better. I'm not really sure if I should keep building this up, if it's going to make it look cakey, but I am going to do a little more, at least where I need it, just because it looks a little crazy otherwise. So when you try to buff and blend this in, do you guys see how it's like separating and looks textured on my skin? I'm going to keep buffing it and seeing if that kind of goes away, but I don't love that. I know lots of people are liking this foundation. I know certain foundations are super awesome because they have skincare ingredients and very trendy. And I like the idea of it. I love niacinamide, so that's what kind of brought me to want to try this for you guys. I do think this is probably better for someone with combination to oily skin. I don't know if dry skin will enjoy this as much. So do you guys see it? Like, it's just not like sticking nicely. So I am going to try on the other side a different brush. They say I did put it on my chin, which my chin is an area that does collect like a texture look to it. But even up here, it's not really covering anything and it's kind of looking speckly. Like it's just sitting there. I did all my skincare prep. This is why I don't typically wear liquid foundations because it's just not a pretty finish on my particular skin. I'll kind of get in here so you can see the side of my face a little bit better. I definitely have texture. I definitely have pores. And I feel like this is kind of making those look worse. I mean, foundation can do that, but I don't want to keep building it up. I think if I do any more coverage, it's going to just look cakey. So I'm going to stop there as far as coverage. I definitely think you could build it up more, but I just don't think I'm doing it any favors by doing that. I'm going to try to use the Pro Airbrush 55 brush. I'm going to go right on to it as well. This one, I just want to see if I get a little bit better of an application with this type of brush. It's a little more loose and kind of go from there. So this one, it like feels like it's applying a little bit nicer, but it's still very, very textured. I'm trying to give it time to like set up so it gives you a powder finish, but it just looks a little funky. I will say a looser brush seems to apply it a little nicer, which is good, but you get more coverage obviously with that denser brush. So keep that in mind. But do you guys see this? It's like not covering anything. And it's sitting super patchy. Even on this side, it's hard for me to show you guys. I'm just trying to get as close as I can, but it's definitely patchy all through the middle of my face, which is where I have my pores and texture, and usually the reason why I'm wearing foundation. I'm going to just kind of go back in and try to re-blend this on my chin because it's just not sitting pretty at all. I want to make this look as nice as possible, of course. I'm going to do a little more coverage because I think I like the looser brush better. I'll just do another coat of it. I definitely think the looser brush, this works a little bit better. It looks a little less cakey than the flat style brush. Again, the flat style brush will give you way more coverage. So for my coverage liking, I definitely would have to go in twice with this foundation. I went really light on the forehead because I always have kind of texture issues there, but as you can see, it's already kind of patching up. I'm going to do my best to let this sit and dry for a minute before I do the rest of my makeup because it says it doesn't need to be powdered, but I don't think that's gonna work on my skin, honestly. it's just not sitting as pretty as I like. It does have a nice finish. It says it's a matte, but it almost looks like a little bit of like a satin or a demi matte, where it's got a little bit of like skin light quality to it. It's not super stark matte. But right now I'm not loving it. I do have some scabs here, so it's definitely picking up texture there. I'm not sure. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes, and I'm going to let it settle so that way it dries down to a powder finish. And when I come back, all my makeup will be on. And then we can talk about my thoughts about this powder foundation, you guys. I got some thoughts. But let's get in here and see. So as you guys can see, this entire area on my jaw is just not looking good. And my forehead is also not looking good. Thankfully, I can say that bronzer, blush, contour, it laid on top okay, because I didn't set this with powder because it says it's self-setting. It laid on top okay. I did wait 5 to 10 minutes to let it set up first before I put my powder products on top of it. I really wanted to make sure that it set in. When I touched my face, my face felt very like soft, velvety, like powder. So I felt it was a good time to put the products on. So what the nice thing about once I put my cheek on is it did kind of blur some of the patchiness here that was happening, where all, you know, my pores and textures are. I don't recommend, this foundation for somebody who has texture and pores, or enlarged pores. I just think it looks really not great. It's not doing me any favors, that's for sure. I don't think this is a great foundation. I think it would be better suited for somebody who maybe has smoother skin, less texture, and less pore issues. So if that is you, this would be for you. For me, this is a total flop. Absolutely not something I can recommend for most people, and I don't think it looks that great. I worked with it and really had to finesse it to make it look half decent so I could wear it and test it over time and see how it worked with like being hot and sweaty and all those things. I do have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. This one is in shade beige. I'm actually gonna try to set my chin and my jaw, my forehead, and see if that kind of helps amp this up a bit. I know it says it's self-setting, but I just look really wet on the forehead, like glowy, and then my forehead and chin also look really glowy. I did set my nose just with like my normal powder that I put under my eyes just because I can't stand a shiny nose. It makes me crazy. But yeah, it's just not, I don't know. It's not looking hot, guys, but I'll get in here one more time so you can see how truly patchy, and it's not covering pretty much anything. The forehead, again, patchiness, it's not really covering anything. I did 2 layers on each part of my face, and it is making my blush and bronzer look a little patchy as well. But that's that. So let's do this. I'm gonna see if actually using this to set it, if it helps a little bit, just look a little bit nicer on my skin. I do have combination acne prone skin. I usually set everything, and for me, I think that would be the same with this product, especially on my chin. It's not fixing everything, but it is blurring and making it look a lot better, like a little less stuck in my pores. Let's try the forehead too. Yeah, this just looks so much better set. I don't think it's wearable for me not set, so keep that in mind. I think maybe on sun skin types it would be fine unset. For me, it just looks really awful. But my forehead looks instantly better with a little bit of powder to set it back down. And my chin looks worlds better. It's not perfect by any means, but it's at least passable, you know, to run errands and do that sort of thing. Fix those little patches there too. All right, so now that I've set it, it definitely, as you guys can see, It looks better. It's not great. I just don't think this foundation's for me, which is unfortunate. I love niacinamide. I love that companies are doing serum infused products. I love the idea of something being like waterproof, pretty much sweat, proof, humidity proof, all those things. I love the idea of it, but it's just not there for me. This liquid does not lay on my face pretty at all. I have tried lots of other liquids, and there's been a couple that lay beautifully and look really nice. This just isn't one of them. I really had to do a lot of extra work to make it lay down and look presentable and not look patchy and catching in every pore and every piece of texture I have on my skin. I have very textured skin. I have enlarged pores, I'm acne prone, and I am combination skin type. So the fact that this is targeted towards that sort of a market, I don't think it fits the bill for me. I'm sorry. I know people are probably loving this foundation and it's just not for me. If you love this foundation, then you keep wearing it and rocking it. That's all that matters, is how it looks on your skin, because each one of our skins is totally different. So definitely always test out the products for yourself. But for me, this is a no-go and a total flop, and I don't recommend this product from Urban Decay. The face bomb's a no. It's my personal opinion. I know others will disagree with me, but it's just not working for me. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys